Yes.
sunny. Oh,
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, because it was so hot last week. Oh my
Oh
God,
my
tried to kill
gosh.
us.
Yeah. Yeah, we cooled off a little here too, which is nice. It's like, I mean, it's still like 80s, but it's at least like not 100. So,
Yeah, I mean, and tomorrow night's our home opener for Mizzou. So I mean, and it's supposed to be just
nice.
like this again.
Oh,
So, oh my
perfect.
God, it's gonna be so. I'm so excited because it'll be like cool,
Yeah.
like football back at the stadium. Oh, I cannot wait.
That's awesome.
I just told my wife none of her knuckleheads at school better cause any trouble because she needs to leave right after school because it's a 2 hour drive for us to get out there.
Yeah.
I'm like, if anybody causes trouble, tell them I will be up in your classroom. Mr. Rahman will come out of retirement
Yes.
and bust some heads because we got to on Thursday we got to go to Mizzou at right after school, and then on Friday our high school team plays 3 hours south, so like we got to bust
Mhm.
out right after school for that. So I told her tomorrow morning you have a talk with your class. There'll be no nonsense for the
No
next
nonsense.
2 days. Mr. Rahman comes up and busts heads because we got to get out. We can't be messing around after school, calling parents,
That's
writing intentions, nothing like that. Everybody better be on their best behavior.
yes. No. No acting up.
Exactly. So you know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to knock somebody out tomorrow morning for sure.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. So let's get that up there. Let's do this. Man, I feel like I got to sneeze here. So hopefully we don't. That's, all right, get a swig of soda and get going. Well, I can hear the like cicada behind you. I love that.
Yeah.
Little ambiance. I love that sound.
Yes.
Hold on, get out of this real quick. I'm on the cheer parents group and we have that bell
Yes.
app. And so if somebody asks a question like during the show, like my watch and everything will just blow up. And I'm always like, stop. We all, yes, we're all going to Jackson on Friday. We're
Yeah.
schooling. Stop. Okay, 2348, Anna, and you're in Oklahoma City. So what now? Do you guys cheer for Oklahoma State? You got orange
Um,
on.
no, this is actually a Chicago shirt
Okay.
from my running group, but yeah, I'm not a big football person, so I don't have, and
Oklahoma
I'm not from
State?
here. I know. I think most people here are OU because we're like 30 minutes from
Okay,
Norman, but it's pretty split. I mean, you got household rivalries here, but yeah, we manage. I've been to a couple of OU games, so that's it's always fun. But
yeah, Oklahoma fans are salty at us because we got this recruit that
yes,
they had, and I love it because we hate Oklahoma here.
yeah, that's
That's what I was hoping you were.
yep,
That's what I was hoping you were a Cowboy fan instead.
yeah. I'm not.
They hate
Uh,
us.
yes, I
Oh,
mean like the OU gymnastics team is great. So
well, that's cool. Our actually Mizzou's gymnastics team isn't bad.
yeah.
They're not bad. Like one of Pam knows somebody's kid that's on the team. I think
Oh
from
wow.
Mallory's gyms or something. I don't know something.
Yeah,
Like that. Anyway, all right,
yeah.
let's get going here. Let's see, 2348. Welcome to episode 2348 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you and happy Labor Day to everybody here in the United States of America. Hopefully, you are not laboring today. The only thing you're laboring over is a nice grill with hopefully some Wisconsin brats. Check that out, Trisha. Giving you a little shout out to your state up there. Or nice hamburgers, hot dogs, pork steaks, as we do here in the STL. Having a great time with friends and family. And maybe you're just catching up on the show on Tuesday because you're going to make it a 4-day week. That's great. But if you're somewhere outside the United States, just happy Monday and back to the grind. That's how it is. That's why podcasting is an international thing. And just glad to have you along. And we're going to have some fun talking Disney today to get that week started either way. And we're headed down to Oklahoma City today with listener Anna. Anna, how's it going? Happy Monday.
It's good. Yeah, happy Monday. Just hot here in Oklahoma, so
It's always hot down there, isn't it? I
I
mean, it's
know.
like, you
It
guys are definitely like Tornado Alley down that part of the world, right?
Yes, yes, it's been not too bad the last few years, but last winter was also very cold. So there's a lot of moments where I'm like, why? It's hot in the summer, but it can be cold in the winter. So this is a fun trade-off.
So I got to say, because we were talking before we started recording, one of my favorite podcasts, and I love podcasting because you can listen to podcasts that are put out by, $1 million corporations, or you can find a
Hmm.
podcast like ours. It's a dude in his basement that's just talking about something they're passionate about. And I have this podcast I listen to, totally random. It's a guy named Rob. And he went, but he was an old BBS guy back in the day, and he's from the same town you're from, near Oklahoma
Hmm.
City, Yukon. And I know
Hmm.
everything about this guy because I've listened to his show for about 10 years. And so I know so much about your little part of the world just
Hmm.
because he's told stories about how he drove his Firebird in high school, and like the kettle, the place where he used to go to get, like it was like a late night Denny's. And I mean, I feel like because he's an author, he's a writer, and
Hmm.
so he paints the picture so well at his podcast and tells all these crazy stories. I've never been to Oklahoma City, but I feel like because of listening to Rob's shows, and it's called You Don't Know Flack, if you ever want to check it out. It's just funny because you mentioned that, and I'm like, oh, I've been to your town. No, I haven't been to your town, but I've been there in my mind so many times. So it's kind of why I really like podcasting. So your part of the world must be pretty cool, I imagine.
It's very fun. I think Oklahoma City has a lot to offer. It's a nice like, I mean, I think like St. Louis, it's a nice like medium-sized city where you have a lot of amenities, but you're not. I I grew up near Chicago, and Chicago is great, but it can be overwhelming. So I feel like Oklahoma City is manageable. So
That's what I say because Paige, my oldest, is up in Chicago working, up there with the basketball team, and we go up to visit, and I can handle Chicago for about 72 hours. And I'm
yeah,
like, okay, that's great. I love the buildings. It's beautiful. Lots to do. Get me out of here, man.
yeah,
It's too much.
there's a lot.
Yeah,
So
a lot. All right, so let's talk Disney before we jump into your trip from last January, which we're going to
mhm.
talk some running. But if you're not a runner, stay tuned. I promise we're going to have a good balance today because I know we talked Princess Weekend last Monday. Today we're going to get it all mixed in here, so don't go anywhere. I used to hate running too, but before that, give us your background on your Disney history. How did it all start for you, and what finds you listening to some Disney shows?
Yeah, so I pretty young Disney goer. I'm actually so I grew up in Illinois, and I live in Oklahoma now, but I was born in Georgia, and a lot of my family is in Georgia. So like we went to Disney when I was probably 4 or 5 for the first time, maybe even younger. And like one of my first memories is I refused to get on any ride that was in the dark because I was afraid it would go upside down. I was probably 5 or 6, and my uncle convinced me to go on It's a Small World by buying me one of those like light up wand things. So that got me
Right,
on
uncle.
It's a Small World. So I went when I was a kid, and then my dad and my uncle would do the marathon weekend when I was in college. So I would go down and meet like my extended family over marathon weekend. So like this was probably the late like 2007, 8, 9, like that time frame. I did the 5K as part of marathon weekend. So like as an adult, like I feel like my Disney is really tied with Run Disney. And so I had done the marathon in 2013, a couple of the Disneyland races, and then I did Goofy in 2016. But my husband and I had been to Disney as part of Star Wars conventions because we're also big Star Wars fans
Right.
in 2017. And then last May, we went to Disneyland as part of the Star Wars convention. And then this was our first trip back to Disney World since like 2016, 2017. So it had been a while since then.
So let me ask you this: so you mentioned the Star Wars fandom and the Star Wars
Hmm.
convention. Did you guys go to Star Wars weekends back when they used to have that at the studios?
No, I never went to Star Wars weekend. So, but I wanted to. But I had been to as part of the Star Wars celebration, which is the Star Wars
Mhm.
convention. They had done a couple of like after hours events at Hollywood Studios. So I had been to those, which like had similar similar activities. And then we went to Star Wars Night in Disneyland in May of 2022. So that was a ton of fun. I wish I had done Star Wars weekends. They were
Super
right up
cool.
my alley, but I think they were always like I was still in school, so I just couldn't do it. So
Those were fun. They were really,
yeah,
they didn't know what to do with, like, it was wild. Like, it was a temporary experience to get to see Star Wars in the Disney parks, and it was
yes,
such a neat thing. It was there, over the weekend, and then you go to the studios on a Tuesday, and it was like it never happened. Then,
it
because
was
like
normal.
we'd stay for 10 days. We'd typically be there for 2 different weekends because, my wife and I were teachers both at the time. And so we'd stay for, 10 days, and we'd get there like on a Saturday and stay, both weekends. And so we get 2 weekends, and it was just wild. You got 2 days
Yeah,
experience. I loved them, but it was just in the middle of the week, nothing there. But let me ask
yeah.
you, I mean, being so deep in the Star Wars fandom, what do you think of the relationship between Disney and Star Wars right now, as far as the big picture? I mean, Galaxy's Edge, we could talk about your experience, and especially your friend Trisha here in
hmm
a few minutes, but with the new, how the Disney Plus is handling things, the movies, I mean, overall, what do you think?
I was a Star Wars fan that was very excited when Disney bought Star Wars, which was kind of controversial. Like I feel like there weren't that many of us who were excited, but I was like the potential for like park additions and shows and like I even though I've never done a Star Wars run Disney race, I just missed them. I was like Star Wars run Disney race would be so fun. So I was very excited, and I the show I think the shows are just great. Like Mandalorian is so fun. Ahsoka's fun. Like I've watched the cartoons. I love like what they're doing with Disney Plus, and I really like Galaxy's Edge. I think that there was a lot of potential with Star Cruiser, but I think it was just too pricey for people. So I hope that I would love to see it be like a Star Wars themed hotel or something that's more like accessible. But yeah, Galaxy's Edge is just it was incredible. Like our first time going to Galaxy's Edge, my husband and I, it was part of that Star Wars night. So it's surrounded by Star Wars fans. We're with some of our best friends who are huge Star Wars fans. That was just such an experience. And then it was so fun to see my friend Trisha get to do it for the first time this trip. So I love it. Rise of the Resistance is like such a good ride. So
It's amazing. It is.
it's so cool. I had stayed like spoiler free before I wrote it, and like we did it with our friend and his like 16-year-old daughter and his 20-year-old daughter, and even the 16-year-old got off Rise of the Resistance. Like, oh my god, that was so cool! And for a 16-year-old to do that is like so huge. So
If you can get a 16-year-old to express any kind of emotion, I mean,
exactly, yes,
Bell right there. I mean, that
yes.
would shake the world, seismic reaction there. So I will tell you though, speaking of Star Wars experiences, that it happenstance for me. I was down there with Mallory. I think it was like we stayed 2 extra nights or something at the end of her cheerleading competition. Pam had to come back to teach, and we stayed over May the 4th. So I was like, dude, we got to go to May the 4th. Like, we got to go to the studios this night, because I had heard that, and I say the word nerd in like the nicest way possible. I'm a huge
Oh,
nerd, right? I'm a Disney nerd. I'm a computer nerd. I'm a nerd. Like, it just, but I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just, I'm into fandoms. This is the way I look at it. So I told Mallory, I'm like, we got to go over to Star Wars. We got to go to the studios, because I heard that all these Star Wars nerds are going to come out with their lightsabers in Galaxy's Edge at dark. And so we go over there. It was the coolest thing, because I've always wanted one, but I'm too cheap to buy one of the good lightsabers. They were like, I am not exaggerating. It had to have been at least 500, maybe 1,000 people in robes with those super expensive lightsabers, like all lit up in Galaxy's Edge under the Millennium Falcon. I was so jealous
that's
about it. Mallory, is it the coolest thing? It was unbelievable, because like the sun was setting over the Falcon and Galaxy. I was like, oh, I mean, the pictures were amazing. It was so cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, we are. It's funny because Trisha, when we were planning this trip, she was like, "Well, don't you guys want to build lightsabers? You're such big Star Wars fans," and we do. We want to do that one day, but like we're also the nerds that already had nice lightsabers before because we do cosplay stuff. So like I was like, we want to do it because we want the experience, but it's such a short trip. Like we're fine. But it's so cool. Like I all those like meetups with all the lightsabers in Galaxy's Edge, those photos. And I would love to go for May the 4th one day. Like,
It's
definitely.
so, yeah. If you're ever
Yeah.
around, you gotta go there when it's
Yes.
dark. It was so awesome.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to have one. You just gotta look at it
No.
and see
No,
it.
you just need yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was so awesome. But yeah, so we can talk about. We gotta get into your trip though. But I mean, just
Yes.
I want people to know if you're there on May 4th, go and get
Absolutely.
by the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, I would make one, but then I know what happened. Like it'd be awesome to bring on the plane, right? To bring your lightsaber
Yes.
because that's always like the baller move when you see somebody walking down the aisle with this lightsaber. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But then I would get home and be like, okay, what am I gonna do with this sucker? Like I paid $300 for it, could have
Yeah.
some real with that. So
Yes.
I'd feel guilty. I'd have buyer's remorse for 10 years, and so I need to be like on a couch with a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your trip from January. You went down with your husband, your friend Trish. You were running your marathon, but before we get into that, actually, I wanted you to give some advice because you've run the marathon before at Walt Disney World, but you've also run races out at Disneyland, and a lot, including myself, running Disneyland races for the very first time in January. So what advice would you give for folks running out on the West Coast that are going to do it for the first time this year?
Disneyland is so much easier than the Disney World races. I know that people say that all the time, but it's so easy. It really like you can stay. We stayed when I did it. We stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, which was great. But even like the Good Neighbor hotels, you can just walk out of your hotel room and be at the race start so easily. And Disneyland, I think it's really fun. The park part is fun, but it's also I would say just keep in mind that it's I always describe Disneyland as like it's like a half run Disney race and like a half just regular city race because you're in Anaheim, and that's part of what I really liked about it because you've got the Disney part, but then you have like I did the Tinkerbell half twice, and so that was one that was known for like the red hat ladies coming out and cheering, but you have like just regular people out, and you get to see kind of I thought Anaheim is very cute, so you get to see like Anaheim. So yeah, I would just keep that in mind that you are going to get to have that kind of city experience as well on your run, which is just a ton of fun. So
yeah, and I hope we get to still run through the Big A, the baseball stadium
yes,
like Shohei plays and Mike Trout. I'm a huge baseball fan. Like
yes,
I'll geek out for that too.
that was yeah, because I did Tink and then I did the Disneyland half, which used to be over Labor Day weekend. So I've done the Dumbo back when it was in September, which that was kind of brutal because it could be hot. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. I love the Disneyland races. Like it took everything in me not to try to register this for 2024, but I knew it was going to be like a nightmare. So I was like, no, we'll wait it out for a little bit. So
It was. I couldn't even get into Dumbo. I got
my
in eventually. I
God.
got into 10K and a half, but I'm not in the
Yeah.
Dumbo. I'm in them separately because I signed it. I got a
Oh
10K
yeah.
spot like way later, a month later. But
Yeah. And the 10Ks, I mean, back in when I was doing them, the 10Ks were great because it was so much park time. Like the amount of time per race was just super fun. And definitely take some of my favorite photos are like just a selfie at Radiator Springs. So,
yeah,
with the racers. So yeah.
I love Disney. Like I didn't know how
I do
hard I
too.
fought for Disneyland. And
I do
I've been
too.
out there for like 15 years. People kept saying, "Mike, you got to go to Disneyland." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, I will." And I kept telling myself,
Yeah.
"I don't want to go out there. It's only 2 parks." And like, I love riding monorails. I love riding boats. Like, none of that's
Yeah.
out there. I mean, it's right on a street. Like you can see a Denny's. Who's gonna like that? I'm like, dude. I was there for like 15 minutes. I was like, I love this place. This place
Yeah.
is great. So I can't wait.
Yeah. So my friend Trisha, who we did the race with, it's been a long time. She was a kid the last time she went to Disneyland, and I'm like, we've got to go because it's just so easy. Like,
It is. That's
to
it.
pop back and forth and yeah, I love Galaxy's Edge. I don't even like the Cars movies like a ton, but that area is just so cool. So the Radiator whatever it's called, so it's so fun. So
I'll be honest. Like I've been to Disneyland twice now in the last year, and I have not set foot in Galaxy's Edge at
well, I
Disneyland
mean,
because it's a clone, right?
it's
There's so much
yeah.
other stuff I want to do out there that I haven't got because I'm still new to Disneyland, right? Now I don't have
Yeah.
so much time out there. So I have not set foot in Galaxy's Edge on the West Coast because I've heard everything is exactly the same.
Yeah,
So
it's
I've shied away from all that stuff because my
yeah,
favorite land anywhere is Radiator Springs. I think it's better than Galaxy's
so
Edge
cool.
to
It's
me.
so cool.
I
Yeah.
love it, so
I mean, I went to Galaxy's Edge when we were at Disneyland because we hadn't been to Galaxy's Edge yet. But yeah, I think future trips I'd be like, eh. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad
yeah,
it's
I've
there,
been in
but
Florida. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So I could talk. This is so much fun. I mean, this is like we could talk like
yes,
a 2 hour show, but it's not going to be. Okay. So let's talk about your January trip. You were down for
yeah.
marathon. You were there again with your husband and Trisha, your friend. So how
Mhm.
did this all come together? How did you decide that 2023 was going to be the year to run another marathon at Florida?
Yeah. So I've run this was my 8th marathon. So I had done 7 marathons before that, but not my last one had been like 2018. I had decided to take 2019 off from the marathon and then COVID hit. And I was not going to train for a marathon that might get canceled. I was like, there's just no way. I'm not doing that work for something that like, and I'm not going to run a virtual marathon. Like, no. So I was looking at like fall of 2022 or spring of 2023 for my next marathon because I was wanting to do one. And Trisha had started running I think she started running in 2019, and we've been running together since January of 2020. And she was like, "Well, I want to do my first marathon, and like, there's a short list of first marathons I want to do, and I'm thinking Disney 2023." And this was, gosh, we probably started talking in like uh spring or fall of 2021, like starting to think about doing this because you have to register for the race in April of 2022, and so we made the decision probably November-ish 2021, like, okay, we're going to try to get into Disney. That's going to be Trisha's first marathon and we'll just make like a whole week long trip out of it. So
Cool. And it's one of those things you can't do last minute when it comes to a Run Disney
no.
event. I mean, you got it. The registration for January is always the April prior. It's usually about 6-7 months ahead of time,
Hmm.
9 months sometimes. So you really got to think it through.
Yeah.
Being a runner, especially for something like a marathon weekend where you're committing yourself to 26 miles, 39 miles, 48 miles in any kind of a challenge, you are making not only a financial commitment for the expense of the trip, but also the training that you're going to have
Yes.
to set aside time and also buy the blister pads and the sneakers,
Yeah.
that stuff.
And
So yeah.
your food, gosh, it's so expensive. Everyone's like running's such a cheap sport. It's not. That's
I
a
thought it
lie.
was. I know. When I got into running, I thought the exact same thing because I was a hockey player, and like I was like, dude, hockey's so expensive. Like, I mean, ice time and skates and so much equipment. Yeah, I don't even want all the money I spent on running too.
No.
It all catches up. And I thought, and then the same thing. Like I thought with cheerleading, I got off cheap. Oh my God, cheerleading has made me broke. And I thought, yeah,
Yeah.
what do cheerleaders eat? They eat pom poms. No. Oh my goodness. Oh my, I can't even tell you about that. Okay, so you guys, you sign up for. Let me ask you this because you guys went down for this trip on a Friday.
Mhm.
You arrived on
Yes.
Friday, according to your notes. Now you've done Dopey before.
I've
I've
done
heard,
Goofy.
okay,
I've never done Dopey.
I thought you did. Okay, I thought you did Dopey. Okay,
No.
so here's my question because I've wondered about this
Mhm.
if I ever, because I always do Dopey for Marathon Week, at
Mhm.
least the last 7 years that they've had it. Arriving on a Friday and go to the expo, do you feel like, because in a way that's awesome because all the Dopey people are done, like, and a lot of the people have cleared, but do you feel like you've missed out on like all the energy of all the eager beavers being there
It's
on
definitely
Friday?
yeah, so Disney is the only place where you're going to use the phrase I'm only doing the marathon or I'm just doing the marathon, right? Like the marathon, it's such a commitment and like you do feel a little like that. Um I I think it helped that since it was Trisha's first marathon, like we were really kind of hyping that up. So I think that helped with the energy. It was great because the lines were fine. There's not a line. We're only trying to buy marathon stuff, so like the store was fine. I think we got almost everything we wanted, and
I'm so
so
jealous because I hate the expo with a
oh
passion.
my gosh,
Scott
yeah,
and I both, every time we go to the expo, because we hate both of us hate the expo. Like we just complain. We're like those two dudes in the Muppet show up there in the balcony. That's us. Like totally. We always say we'd pay $100. We'd Run Disney, listen to us. We'd pay $100 extra. You can put it on this registration if you would just put our bibs and our shirts in a bag and put them
yeah,
on the check-in desk at our hotel. You don't have to put them in our room. just drop them off at whatever hotel. Like, just look, like we're at Coronado, we're at Pop Century, wherever. Put them at the desk. We'll go down to the desk and pick them up just so we don't have to go to that stupid expo. We hate the expo. Anyway,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, and you're saying you got off easy. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it was not bad. Like, I mean, I still spent a lot of money on, merchandise, but I feel like it's a little easier. So like when I did Goofy, I was there like earlier and it was definitely more of a like mess. Not,
Black Friday, and it's like my nightmare.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like there's just like crap everywhere, and people are
yeah.
ripping through piles of stuff, and I'm just like, that's not me. I
Mm-mm,
just want to get out of here,
mm-mm,
please. I mean,
mhm.
I go in and I look at the merchandise, but I mean, like if I want like a jacket, I don't shop, I buy. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
go directly to that, boom, get it off the thing and get in line. Like I don't browse.
I'm I
Oh.
miss when Run Disney used to let you like pre-order merchandise because I would be like, okay, that's fine. I'll just pre-order this jacket and then that's good enough. Like,
Crazy anyway. Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that and I'm like so jealous. I'm about to go to Friday.
I
Like
know.
8 days of
It was
shopping
great.
on there. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to make sure we cover the trip. So you guys stayed at French Quarter. I've
Yes.
heard this is just a delight for marathon weekend. A lot of runners
Yes.
are staying here, so you guys thought it worked out well.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, that's why we picked French Quarter is because we knew it was the smallest property on site. And we wanted, since it was a marathon, like to not try to limit our walking. Because I've done the other two times I've done the marathon, we stayed at um, Grand Floridian and Yacht Club. And I was with my parents. And those were great, beautiful hotels. But like the Grand Flow one, especially, I just remember thinking, like, my legs are gonna be dead,
Yeah.
and I haven't even just from walking to and from the lobby to the room. So with French Quarter, it was small, it was quiet. We had the boat down to Disney Springs, which was great. We ran on Saturday a little shakeout run, so that was that path was beautiful. The beignets, so
Oh,
yeah, we really love French
good.
Quarter. Yeah, in fact, we're thinking about Trisha and I are planning on Wine and Dine next year, 2024, and we've already booked a hotel room for French Quarter because that's where like we liked it so much for a race weekend.
And in French Quarter, you can hear the announcements actually still. If you're listening,
Yeah.
you can hear Pelkey and Carissa and everybody like,
Yep.
oh, I mean, you can hear them there, Riverside, Coronado, OQ West. You
Hmm.
can hear them pretty. There's a lot of resorts. You can
Yes.
hear those guys. They crank it up. Okay, so let's kind of walk through. First of all, what advice did you give Trish? Because you were kind of coaching her, kind of
Yeah.
probably informally through her first marathon experience. So, what advice were you giving her building up to the anticipation of her first full marathon, but also
Yeah.
being at Walt Disney World?
It's funny you say that because I'm actually a certified running coach. So I
Oh,
was coaching
you
her
are officially
formally.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, you didn't. She hired me. She hired me as her coach. So I think that was definitely a benefit because I was writing her plan. It's a lot of marathons are a lot of like your legs are just tired all the
Yeah.
time when you're training. And I told her early on, I was like, you're gonna reach a point where you're like, my legs are so tired, I can't go on. And like that's the point of marathon training. And then also just like with Disney, it was a lot of like it's crowded. Like it is a crowded race. You're not going to be able to do what you want to do all of the time, like because we run walk, and I was like, sometimes we're going to have to run when we're supposed to be walking. Like it's just
Mhm.
you got to go with the flow.
Gotta be flexible.
Um, and with Disney, it's hard if you live somewhere that's like even somewhat cold, and then you go down to Florida because it has the potential to be warmer than you're used to. So it was a lot of like, how do we work through that? So yeah, it was a lot of that, and a lot of just, well, you've got to train for the marathon, which Trisha trains. Like she's very good at training. Like she is a rock star, unlike me. She is like A+ student, but yes, that kind of you're gonna be tired. Your legs are gonna be tired. Like it, it just is what it is. Like, and just the mental part of the marathon is so important too. Like it's working on that mental game of like I want to stop, but we just have to keep going. So
It is too, and with the Disney marathon, especially the 26.2, the mental thing is like a double-edged
yes,
sword, right? It's a lot of it. Like I know, going into this year, I've done a bunch of them at this point. Like I know, just let go of like all those things you said. Like I can't control how crowded the course
yes,
is. I can't control the weather. I can't control, there's a lot of things that are out of my control. So I'm not even stressing about. I'm not looking at the
yeah,
forecast. It's going to be what it is. But I also like know what it feels like on that, on that back half of the, like at mile 20. But at least we don't run through ESPN anymore. Thank God for
yeah,
that, because it's been
yeah,
oh my God, I love sports, but I hated ESPN during those
yeah.
marathons. We used to have to do every square inch of that place. Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh. I do feel like because the last time I had run it, there was a lot more on Osceola Parkway too. So I was like, oh, this is. But then we got to the Blizzard Beach parking lot. I was like, oh no, this is terrible.
Yeah,
So
that was awful too. Yeah, that was
yeah,
awful.
and that was. I mean, I think the Run Disney races are great, but I did like warn Trisha. I was like, there's a lot. Like the park part is what you see in videos and all the pretty
Yes.
stuff, but like there's a lot of back roads. It's
You will
26 miles, so
Yeah, you will see the trash dump, and you will see all
yes,
the crows, that are circling over, the buzzards and stuff, and, 50-50, they were coming for this dude not to
yes,
finish. I'm like, "Am I dying?" 'Cause there's a lot of buzzards, like, right
yes.
over my head, like, coming over, but
Yes.
alright.
And Trisha did great during the marathon. I was struggling more. So we reached a point where she was like, we only have 10 more miles to go. We've done this so many times during training. And I was like, Trisha, 10 miles is still really far.
Yeah, no, just that's why I always and I tell people, I mean, I'm not rude. I just try not to be rude, but I'm like, just I don't run with people during a
Yeah.
race. I can't talk, and I get salty, but I'd rather just have the salty conversation with myself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, this is terrible, but eventually I'll get there. I don't want to
Yes.
in the conversation. Okay, so you guys get there, you arrive, and kind of kick it off with boat rides, which again,
Yes.
you got to be creative in your dining because you want to have good meals, but I think Scott and I had a question about this on the show last week, that we had a person going down over marathon weekend that wasn't a runner asking about
Hmm.
what it's like to be there. And we said the challenge that they're going to have more than time in the parks, because the runners go to bed early typically, is getting dining reservations, because runners eat. And boat rides is kind of right there next to, it's over at Riverside,
Yeah.
adjacent to your resort. And it's a good restaurant because you got to kind of
Hmm.
think outside the box to get ADR sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, it was we took our restaurants very seriously this trip. It was a lot of listening to the podcast and picking, and then before a marathon, I'm very picky about what I eat. So, I can't just eat anything. I have to like know. So, Boat Rights was really high up on our list of a place we wanted to try, and we loved it. It was probably one of my favorite restaurants the whole trip. And it was nice because it was something like Trisha and I could eat pre-race, but then my husband Ross, who wasn't running, could have something fun, have a fun drink, and still feel like he's on vacation, not just getting dragged along to watch us run a marathon. So
That's good. Yeah. So you had that. Then I hope you didn't get anything super. See, I'm terrible. Like you've said a lot of stuff. Like I wear my legs out like all the way up to the race. All
yeah,
the idea, and I eat like terrible. Like the night before each
I
leg of the race.
yeah,
I
I
shouldn't.
have I have learned that I regret that if I do it. I prefer like a rice and like I'm my carb load preference is rice. But I did have at Boat Rights. I got the platter, the like all you can eat platter. So I did have fun Friday night. So yeah,
I mean, we'll go to like Maya Grill the night before the full marathon or something. I'll just destroy fajita. I don't even. I don't think. Like I'll just eat whatever I want. I'm terrible. I should take it more seriously, but I don't, and that's why I pay. So, I just want to kind of jump around a couple of places otherwise that you ate. You guys had brunch over at Olivia's one again. I've
yes.
said this many times on the show. Hidden gem again over at Oak Key West. Brunch over there is just awesome option, I think.
Yeah, it was great. Like we kept talking. We're like we feel like our eating trips or our food places are like a BOGP like best of because it was a lot of like the hidden places. And since we were at Port Orleans French Quarter, Olivia's was real easy. Like we just called an Uber and got over there. And it was great. I'd love to go back like sometime when I could fully enjoy it.
Mhm.
but I think I got the chicken and waffles. Like, you can get their fried chicken with like the Mickey waffles. So that was really fun. And again, like, my husband was able to have a brunch cocktail, and it was a good time. And Old Key West, I'd never been over there. It's a very pretty resort, so it was fun just to see it.
It is a great resort. It is just like a
Yeah.
little community. I love that. I lo
Yes.
It's just so chill. It's got the golf course
Yes.
right through it. Yeah, it's awesome. And then you guys
Mhm.
did Boathouse as well. So did that
Mhm.
yeah, have you guys been there before? I'm guessing maybe?
No, I had never been. I hadn't been to Boat Ride or Boat House before. I think most of the places we ate at, it was my first time. But yeah, Boat House was, honestly, it was probably my least favorite place we ate. But that's not. I feel like that's just because everywhere else we ate was really good. I would definitely give boat rides another try when I can, like, try something else. And but it was still fun. It was great atmosphere, great service, and the food was good. It just, I feel like everything else was so good that it kind of overshadowed it.
No, I got you there because Boathouse. I know a lot of people like rave on Boathouse, and I like Boathouse a
Mhm.
lot. I always get the sliders typically when I go there. It's
Mhm.
really good. They're not one of the more expensive things on the item because again, I'm very frugal.
Yes.
But I just like the more themed places, like the more Disney feeling places. It doesn't. I know it's
Yeah.
new to the nautical theme, but I don't know.
Yeah. And I
It doesn't feel as much Disney to me.
Yeah, and there's just other places like in Disney Springs that I would want to try before I went back to Boat House. So yeah, it was good, but I wouldn't, like, I would still recommend it to someone if it fits what they're looking for, but it just probably my least favorite, but still we all liked it.
That's good. Okay, so
Yeah.
before we talk, because I want to talk theme parks and
Mhm.
all the fun times you had in the theme parks, let's get a 3-minute recap of the marathon. Trisha's
Oh
experience, your experience. How did it go? Was it what you expected? I mean, crazy stuff happened. How did I can't even remember the marathon for me last year.
Gosh, yeah, it was good. I feel like I was not as ready for the slant on the road, and that's such a runner thing to talk about, right? Is like the
I'm
slant on
with
the
you. Yes.
overpasses, like,
Yep. The clover leaf things. Yep. That's
yes, that
for me.
that bothered those bothered me, like, in my hips more than I was expecting. And it was actually, I had prepared Trisha. I'd been like, it's so crowded the whole time that it actually didn't feel that bad. Like, it was crowded, but I think we had over, like, mentally prepared. There were still parts that were very crowded. It was a ton of fun. I mean, it's Disney races. They're early. We were nervous when we started. Magic Kingdom, like, that part of Magic Kingdom is just so fun. I love running through Animal Kingdom. I think it's a fun little park. It was fun to see Animal Kingdom is when you start to see people getting like drinks. And as we ran through Animal Kingdom, we saw someone leaving with like a whole tray of food. Like, they had like a pretzel and like popcorn, and they were just walking out. And
You
I was
saw
like,
Scott. You saw Scott running. Oh, yeah, you found him.
yeah, later I was like, was that Scotty G? But yes, it was. And that's just what makes Disney races fun, right? Like, so we saw that, and I was like, I should have stopped for a drink. Like, I should have gotten something. And then we leave. I think at some point, this is when Trisha's like, we only have 10 miles left, and I was like, that's still pretty far. I used maybe some more colorful language, and uh, and then that's around when it got hot, I think, is
Yeah.
leaving Animal Kingdom. And then, but once we were back in Hollywood Studios, it was easier. The boardwalk area is fun, and we had actually in time we it was Trisha's first marathon, and so we did not have a time goal. Like, we were like, 6 hours 40 minutes. I think we were within the time, the 7 hour time cutoff, but we were not trying to hit any time, which I think, for a first marathon, is something I always recommend, is like, just enjoy it for what it is. And so we get to boardwalk, and we keep our run walk intervals the whole time, which I was impressed. We switched to like uh, 1-to-1s instead of what we normally do, but we had bought my husband a park ticket so that he could get us drinks, because we didn't want to commit to wait in line for our own drinks. So, which he took his job very seriously. So, like,
You should.
yeah, I early on in the race, my gel of choice is this lemon lime goo. It's lemon lime Huma. That's the brand. And so he was going to get us margaritas. And early on with this lemon lime, I told Trisha, I was like, I don't want a margarita. Like, I don't want to drink anything lemon lime ever again after this marathon. And so he got me a beer and he got Trisha a margarita. And then we walked it in. Like, the last, like, all our friends were like, what happened? It's like you were going pretty good. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. I was like, well, we couldn't spill. So, we had to walk it in. But yeah, then we get done and we're like, we're just done getting. I feel like people don't talk about this enough. So we took the buses back to the hotel, and like getting off the bus, I was like, Ross, you need to go down first in case you need to catch us because these steps are so hard.
I saw somebody bite it so hard at the over at Fort Wilderness.
Oh my gosh.
We were staying at Wilderness Lodge that year, and it went to Fort Wilderness first. And the person, they didn't realize it, right? Because this was after Dopey. Like they took the first step, but they didn't realize how locked up they were. And they just literally on the first step, like their top of their body went, like their waist above, like decided to go down the steps. Guess what? The bottom half of their body said, because I just went probably 28 miles by the time I walked to the corral.
Yeah.
Didn't move, and they just went, whoo. And I mean, everybody jumped up, and all the rest of us were super sore too, so we weren't moving very fast. And I mean, the bus driver jammed on the emergency brake. I mean, the guy was okay. But
oh my God,
the guy had a heart attack, but he was so locked up. He's like,
I can't do it.
Oh, but I bet that happens all the time.
I know.
That's Sunday. And then he was laughing because he was laying there like he didn't get hurt. He was laughing. Then we're all laughing because then all of us are like, dude, that's going to happen to me when I get off at my house.
It was I told Ross, because he hadn't run. I was like, you're gonna get down first just in case. Like, I don't know, we're both stiff, so you got to get ready. So, and he spent the whole rest of the trip being like, at one point, I think on Monday, he was like, my legs are tired just from the walking. I don't know how you guys are doing this. So
I kept worried that guy was like sleeping in the tent. The guy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. At Fort Wilderness.
I was like, please, God, he's in a nice cabin with air conditioning.
I hope so.
Some motorhome. Yeah, it was not pretty. But so you guys made it, and I'm sure with a because I've run with Scott in his first marathon. We crossed the line together. We actually crossed the line together with Chipper Dale. We got an awesome picture. Friend of the show. That was awesome to have a friend of the show. Chipper Dale listens to the podcast.
Yes.
But it's one of those things like you just have that memory forever because you saw train together, even if you do it virtually, like he did it in Michigan. Here we kind of talked all the time, and it's one of those things. That's a souvenir that you earn. That's what I always say.
Yes,
it's a souvenir because you earn it.
Yes, it was, and it was very exciting to be there and do that. And Disney's a fun place to celebrate after. So.
And well done, Ross, for getting the margarita.
Yes, he took that. He's a very good. When I've done Chicago, he is on it. He will see me like 4 or 5 times on the course, but that's much harder to do at Disney. That's the other thing about Disney is like it's harder so that was, I think, easier for him to just have to get one drink instead of carrying around, my bag. So
my wife said the same thing in Chicago. She saw me like 4 or 5 different places, and she had me a Chicago dog at the finish. That was
amazing.
Awesome. Big old dog dragged through the garden with all the stuff. Oh, that tasted so good. Oh my gosh, that was the best hot dog ever. Okay, so after you finish all that night celebratory dinner, Steakhouse 71, baby, over the
Yes.
I bet that tasted good.
It was very.
You know what though? Let me ask you this. I wasn't sorry. I'm never as hungry the night after the marathon. Now Monday, I could eat anything like within Orange County or Lake County or whatever, Osceola County, but not the night of the race.
We really went back and forth on that because I've told Trisha that too. Like I'm kind of hit or miss, but we wanted to do it and we just decided to take it and take the risk that we would maybe not be as hungry, but we ended up being hungry enough. We were definitely hungrier the next day, which is why we did Ohana for breakfast. But our initial plan was to do like a monorail crawl and go to like have a drink at every location, but we did not. We made it to Contemporary and Polynesian. So we were like, no, we're done. But and Steakhouse 71 was nice because I felt like a reasonable portion of food, which felt doable after. But yeah, I can't eat lunch lunch. I was like 2 bites and I was done.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. But by dinner, I was a little better.
and also Steakhouse 71, it's chill. You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
like it because the atmosphere is just it's chill. Like
Yes.
it's not pretentious. It's just like it's super good food too. And
Yes.
it's just it's for me it hits like all the it's reasonably priced. It's easy to get to on the monorail next to the
Yeah.
Mediterranean. It's great atmosphere. It's just just if it just feels
It
chill,
was
I like it
it
a
was a
lot.
great place, and we saw like 2 other people that we knew celebrate like who had run the race who were there. So it was not an uncommon like you saw a lot of runners. So
I think I might have to do that this year.
yeah, it's a good one. It's
That's a
a good
good one.
one
But then you went to Ohana, you said, for breakfast the next
for
morning. I mean,
breakfast.
and
Yes,
that is a great breakfast. I
yes,
like it better than the dinner.
yeah. We did Ohana for breakfast, and that was a lot of fun. We really wanted to get the um, pineapple drink at Ohana's. I can't the Lapu Lapu, I think.
Mhm.
And so we got that, and then we got to get our medal pictures with the characters, so that
Nice.
was fun. And yeah, the breakfast was great. Really good, really good. And then it was easy. We went over to Epcot after breakfast, so could take the monorail and just get into Epcot. So, yeah.
So we really haven't talked about time in the theme parks, like just experiencing
Hmm.
around as a guest. Now at this point,
Hmm.
even before it sounds like you mostly did it after the races. You have your medal
Yeah.
and so forth. But I mean, what because you hadn't been in the parks for quite a while.
Mm-mm.
So things like Mickey and Mickey's Runaway Railway, Slinky Dog Dash, all that stuff was new. So and Trish, a lot of stuff new for her too.
Yeah.
Give us some
Yes.
theme parks.
Yeah, so we did wait until after the race to do the theme parks, and that's again like we wanted to get our money's worth, and I'm wanted to save our legs for the race. So we waited until after, and so we did Epcot, and then Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. So we didn't go to Animal Kingdom this trip, and it was great. Like Epcot, it had been years since I'd been in Epcot, so it had changed a lot. We didn't get to do Frozen. That was just one that we could never swing. But we did do Genie Plus for our 3 park days. And then we bought for Guardians, we bought the Lightning Lane, whatever. Yeah, Lightning Lane. So the Epcot day, we did Remy's, which that was super cute. And Guardians was great. I could see why it would make someone sick. In fact, Trisha did it once and she was like, I think that's it for me. If you all
Yeah,
want
I
to do
like
it
this.
again,
Yeah,
you're
maybe
welcome to it, but I cannot, which I absolutely understood. But it was such a fun ride. And then I hadn't taken the Skyliner before, so or none of us had. So we took the Skyliner over to Hollywood Studios and hopped over there to Galaxy's Edge on our first day. So all of that was fun, and we got to see kind of the Moana area in Epcot, like on the monorail, and that looks cool. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see that because I'm going down actually later this week for the Give Kids World
yeah,
fundraiser this coming weekend, and yeah, maybe I can get in with maybe let some kind of
yes,
sneak preview because we're doing cast member previews, but marathon weekend will be here
next
before
time.
you know it. So excited
Yeah,
for that. What did you think of things like Mickey and Minnie's? I mean, because obviously you'd seen Great Movie Ride probably 100 times at that point.
yeah, yeah. I love Great Movie Ride, but I definitely like the last time I did it, I was like, okay, this needs some updates. Like it was, and I loved it. It was a great ride, but I thought Mickey and Minnie's was a ton of fun. It just was like that opening scene, when you're in the room and then the screen, like that was so cool. And then just kind of the little ballet scene. So I thought it was a lot of fun, and definitely a cute ride, and a ride I think that park needed. Something family,
Yeah, yeah.
young
Well, yeah,
kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just kind of for the nostalgia only, it's more
Yes.
for everybody to kind of get a little
Yes.
piece of.
Yeah,
I
get
guess
that piece. And Slinky Dog was super fun too, like such a cute little coaster. So unfortunately Tower and Rock and Roller Coaster were down, which it was fine. Rock and Roller Coaster, like the Star Wars night my husband and I had gone to, they had put like Star Wars music on Rock and Roller Coaster and turned it into like a like
oh, sweet.
it was super cool. And so we rode it like 3 times. And so we both were like, we don't need to do it anyway. But Tower was down. basically the whole time. Like we weren't able to do tower, which that was kind of a bummer, but you know, everything else is fun. But definitely Genie Plus in Hollywood Studios was great.
Yeah, because we used it with when I was there with Paige, because she only had that one day after our cruise this summer,
Yes.
and we couldn't get there till 11 because we were on the cruise in the morning. And man, we got so much done because we had Genie Plus.
Yes.
We just creatively used it as what was available, and we just jammed through the day. And it was,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm tight, I'm super cheap, and we got
Yeah.
everything's worth that day. So
Yeah. Yeah. We
good thing.
also ate at Sci-Fi on our Hollywood Studios day, which that was
You
fun
can't get in
too.
there. Everybody's in
I
there.
know.
Everybody comes on this show and says they ate a time. That's why I can't get in. Every one of our listeners
Yes.
every time says I ate a time.
Everyone's doing it.
Exactly.
I again, I think because like we did probably one of my I don't know that I wouldn't make it a priority to go back, but the atmosphere was really cool.
So you also guys did Space 220 in the
We
lounge,
did. We
which
did the
obviously that
lounge.
was new. So real quick, what did you think about that?
It was great. I thought it was super cool experience. I'm glad we did the lounge because we could kind of pick and choose. Like we just had like appetizers and drinks and that was it. Our server was actually a runner, so he had done
Oh,
Dopey.
nice.
And so that was fun to get to like talk with him as he was serving us. I definitely would recommend the lounge. I would do the full dinner at some point as well. But I think if you can get into the lounge, like it's a great option to have. So
In the last place you ate, because I gotta bring this up because it is one of my favorite places. You ate all of my favorite places, but this
yes,
one I
we
haven't
really
been
did.
there. Scott's never been to this place yet, and I got to get him to go there. Beer Garden. I
It
love
was
Beer Garden. This place is so much fun.
it was so fun. So we actually I promise we did rides too, but we did food was a priority this
I
trip.
mean, seriously, running trips though, you
Yeah,
don't do a ton of rides. I mean,
it's a
honestly,
lot of
no, you
food.
don't do a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but we actually had reservations to somewhere else that night, but Trisha started feeling sick, just kind of post run, post being around a lot of people. So she went back to the room, and so my husband.
So instead, we took her to Beer Garden where you get all
No,
kinds of
no, yeah, she went
and
back to the room. She just ate at French Quarter. Yes,
I
yes, but so my husband and I were just gonna go to Epcot and like eat at like the fish and chips place, or just do
Yeah,
Epcot
yeah.
for a meal. And I just was like, well, I'm gonna look and see what's available. And like Beer Garden was available, so it was like a last minute. Like I made the reservation like 20 minutes before we got there, and it was kind of into the night, but it was so cool. Like the food was great. Like if you, I mean, I think even if you don't like German food,
Yeah.
it's a
Oh, yeah.
buffet. There's plenty. We were the entertainment, like the band, the
Yeah.
German band, that was super
Awesome.
fun. Yeah, and then like the way that we ended it, like we were able to like walk out and see Harmonious like as at the end of the night. So it was just super fun. But yeah, Beer Garden was like I was like, this is really cool. Like it's just a fun little like thing. There were kids dancing
Yeah.
and it was great. So I definitely would recommend Beer Garden like as a fun like I think a big group would have a ton of fun there. And then just like it was just my husband and I, and it was great for that too.
Yeah, I went there solo and had a blast. Like I just
Yeah.
joined in with the family, and 20 minutes in, we were like all a big fan. It was great. And
Yeah.
what I like about Epcot is when you can find those places again. But I'm a nostalgic guy, but
Hmm.
like I love living with the land because I feel like it's
Hmm.
something that is still left over from the 80s. It's that edutainment kind of feel. But I feel
Yeah.
Beer Garden is just like because when you're dining in there, it is like a little village. Like you're in this little village with the band playing, and they have it's like a little set you're sitting in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the costumes that all the wait staff has on. I like that it just has that certain feel that not the newer restaurants don't have that. It
No.
really feels like it could be right out of like 1986 or something.
It really does. It was just a ton of fun. Like there's a local Oktoberfest in Tulsa that we go to every year, and it kind of reminded us of that, and it just was just super fun. Like I would definitely do. I would do most of the restaurants we ate at again, but I would definitely do that one. That would be like a priority for, especially like by yourself or just with people. So I was glad that we were able to squeeze it in.
Cool. So as we wrap up the show, and this has been just a
Mhm.
ton of fun, just talking running, talking dining, talking the
Mhm.
theme parks, just kind of just all the stuff, Star Wars.
Yeah.
What advice would you give somebody that is thinking about going for their first race, because there's
Yeah.
always somebody out there. We have thousands and thousands of listeners all over the world. And many of our listeners have run Disney races. I mean, obviously we have a big running team in the Lizards. And if you want to join
Yes.
us, just search on Facebook, be our guest Lizards. We'd love to have you. But
Yes.
everybody's, at different parts, the journey. Maybe you want to get a little bit more fit here, as the weather cools off here in the States in the fall. Great time to get started. What would you tell somebody? Because your journey started, my journey started about 10 years ago. How do you what advice? Because you're a certified coach. What would you say?
Yeah, so I would say that Disney is a great place to do your first races. I think that there is a little bit more logistics with the Disney race versus like your local 5K. So I think if you want to do your local 5K first, that's also great. But Disney is super fun. It's very supportive. I'm in the Be Our Guest Lizards. They're a super supportive group. I don't even think, if you're thinking about running, I would encourage you to join that group to get started. I think getting started, there's tons of couch to 5K apps, and that is a great way. I have done that like when I have taken time off of running. Those are great. And yeah, marathons are, you don't have to do a marathon also. Like if you go down to a Run Disney race and you do the 5K and the 10K, that is great. That is a huge accomplishment, and you should do that and feel accomplished, and wear your medal and celebrate in the park, and just have a good time. So, and they're super fun. I had a great time with my husband coming, and my friend. They're great for, like, I know the person last week was a girls trip. I think they're tons of fun for like friend trips, to do the races. So I think there's a lot of great options.
There
But
isn't. Well said.
you have to sign up early. So
You got to commit. That is the one thing. Like you can't hem and haw because the races sell out fast,
yes,
especially the 5Ks, which is kind of a shame because that's
yes,
the race that's usually kind of the introduction for a lot of people. But they go like
yeah, they
super.
go so
The
fast.
one that's always open is the marathon last because that's like the stupid dumb race that everybody.
Yeah, because only crazy people run the marathon. So
Exactly. No, but it's one of those things, it's so fun though. And what it was for me back in the day, when I used to hate running, all it was it gave me an excuse. I live in St. Louis, a place like you in, in Oklahoma, where in the
mhm,
wintertime in January it gets cold. We get ice
yeah,
storms. It's just bitter. And so at least I had an excuse to go to Florida for a weekend in
hmm,
January. And if it meant I had to run a few miles, so be it. It's like,
yes,
who cares? It's like it's a few hours of pain for like 3 days of sun and fun. I'll do it.
yes, you can do it.
But then, I decided I was shortchanging myself and I got into, I need to train and do this the right way, like, and,
Yes,
be fair about it. And so it's
yeah,
actually changed my lifestyle when I actually started to think about it the right way. Cause I used to kind of
yeah.
think about it the wrong way as I was
And
younger.
I would add, like, I haven't run for a charity for Disney races, but I have for, well, I was gonna run for a charity with another race that I now can't do. But it was not as hard. It was challenging to raise the money, but not as scary as I thought it was. And I think that, like, a charity, signing up to run with a charity is a good option, too. If you're so inclined for that, then you can have a fun trip and also do some good, for a charity. So
Yep. I'm running for a charity this year for Dopey.
yeah,
So yes,
yeah,
so that'll be
it's
awesome. All right. Yeah.
it was nice to do. So
Well, Anna, thanks for coming on the show. What a way for a
yeah,
Labor Day. And I mean, everybody's supposed to be chilling and just eating and sitting on the deck.
yes,
And we're here, we're talking about running. And I mean, we talked a lot of food. So that kind of,
yes. I mean, that's what running is, right?
we run to eat. That's why we do this. We run to eat and get cool medals. That's about it.
Yes,
I could really care less about the medals. I just want to eat. But no, so much fun. And I hope to see you at a race sometime. That'd be awesome.
yeah,
And we can hang out in the corrals and commiserate. And then the gun goes off and there we go.
yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks again. And have a great fall down there in Oklahoma.
Thank you.
All right. Don't forget today's show always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Yes, we labor on Labor Day and every day, every other day. So if you want to book a trip to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney, just swing by the website, themagicforless.com. The agents are standing by right now to help you plan that trip for no additional cost to you. Again, over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our patrons. You allow us to put these shows out every week, 3, 4, 5 shows a week. It's because of your support and our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. So we'd love to have your support starting at just $5 a month. Come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike on Instagram and Twitter. And follow me this week because Thursday morning, I will be headed down to Walt Disney World, where I am staying at Coronado Springs this coming weekend with Scotty G. Oh my gosh, it's going to be wild because we're doing the live show at Give Kids the World on Saturday from noon to 6. So tune in, please, for that so that you can get in on some of the auction items. We have tons of stuff. I mean, just so many donations. I think the thing you want to get, though, that wireless Bluetooth speaker that floats in your pool that looks like the Disney Wish. Those things are hotter than Texas in July. And you can get one of those, right? If you don't have a pool, you have a bathtub. If you don't have a bathtub, you got a sink. Put the plug in it, put the thing in, blast some Taylor Swift. I don't care what you play. It's going to be awesome. Amaze your neighbors. Support the families that Give Kids the World. Join us Saturday, noon to 6, here on all the locations. And if you're down in Florida, come out to the Village. We'll be live from there. Also, Friday, we're volunteering at the Village too. So that's going to be fun. Hope to see a lot of our listeners there. And we'll be on the social media as well. So no live show that Sunday, but we'll be on the air 6 hours on Saturday. So that'll be plenty of us for this weekend. All right. So we're going to jump out of here and wish you a great Monday. Hope you're having a great Labor Day here in the States. We'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. So until then, for Anna, I'm Mike, wishing you a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right. Thanks so much. That was awesome. We could have
thank you.
We could have gone for another hour, but I figure we'll keep it on that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So
okay, well, you have a good one, and tell everybody I said thanks for the time. I appreciate it, and have a nice. I do hope to see you down at Walt Disney World sometime.
Definitely. So
all righty, I'll see you later.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.